What's up, everybody? This is Gina Ifoe, the one and only African superstar, bringing you another thought. Today I want to talk about the West is inherently racist and there is nothing we can do about it. Today I was actually having a thought as I was kind of dealing with a situation at my workplace, and I think a lot of times we encounter these situations all the time, and Black people have kind of accepted that this is the way that it is and this is how it is, regardless of our caliber, regardless of our education, regardless of our outlook on life. We are met with racism on so many different levels, and we are powerless to it. In America, a lot of Black people have hoped to gain recourse by utilizing the justice system, as they know the justice system is a double-edged sword. And the thing is, if you think about it in depth, you realize that the entire system from the top to the bottom is inherently racism. You are not going to be able to escape these elements regardless of what you do. They have set up a system in their countries to preserve their people and to make us at the bottom regardless. You see it so many times, especially people that are professionals. You see it all the time, whereby you've gone to school, okay? You've gotten these degrees that were required for various professions. And when you find yourself in your profession that you had to work 2, 3, 4, 5 times harder than your non-Black counterparts to get to, you still find a lack of respect. You find a lack of input. You think that you realize that your opinion, your professional opinion, is often just totally disregarded. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm quite I'm quite choked up at the notion, because the situation is so huge. The situation is so huge. And even I look at, for instance, I look at Black Americans back in America that are fighting for reparations. Who exactly do they think is going to approve reparations? Who exactly do you think is in control of the federal mint? Who do you think is in control of the government in America? You might see speckles of minorities here and there, but you know that they don't wield a lot of power. We know that most of those Black people that have been elevated to any leadership position, most of them, the overwhelming majority of them, are coons. Which means, who is going to advocate on your behalf at those levels that change really needs to come from? You guys are spinning your wheels. Okay, you guys are spinning your wheels. If you're waiting for these people to even the score, if you're waiting on these people to fix their wrongs, to compensate you. Now, mind you guys, okay, I gotta talk about these things comprehensively, because I think sometimes we think in one dimension. We think my life, 2019, 2020, this time, this day and age. But realize so many of our ancestors came before us, okay? The people that were actually slaves, okay? The people that were actually on plantations and working for free and being beaten and all these kind of things, all right? When the day that slavery was finished, because I've been doing research on this, they weren't even properly communicated to what was happening. It was more or less one day they just got released from the plantation. They had no place to go. They had no food. They had no resources. They were just left to their own devices. They were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule, but they never got that. America has actually never paid up on that debt. Do you understand? So the people that were directly impacted by slavery didn't even receive compensation. Their kids didn't receive compensation. Their grandchildren have not received compensation. If the government was not willing to pay them then, What makes you think they are going to pay them now? Because see, now the argument is, well, that was so long ago. And people need to get over that. And I've even heard some people deny the slave trade altogether. Or how are you going to establish the connections back to slavery times? Who's going to be a recipient of this reparations and all these type of the bottom line is, guys, what you're relying on. Okay? The various institutions that you're relying on to give you leverage in these Western societies are inherently racist. And therefore, you cannot even depend on that. Let's just say you go to high school and you work really hard in America. Okay, you're able to get scholarships. Let's just say you're able to go to the top schools in the nation, which are Ivy League schools. They call Ivy League schools a lot of, very prominent people from past times, politicians, former presidents, business people, have attended Ivy League universities. Okay, these two include Yale, Harvard, Columbia, are some of these prestigious, universities. Okay. Let's just say you bust your behind and you are managed to get in there. Immediately when you get in there, people are treating you as if you didn't earn your way in. Oh, you're here because of affirmative action. Oh, you're here because of this or that or whatever. It immediately undermines your intelligence. Now they too are there, but somehow, however they got there, and a lot of them are utilizing different channels to get escalated in life. We know this is true. Shout outs to all my diaspora that knows what I'm talking about. They utilize various channels to get escalated, and very, very seldom have they really earned what they are receiving. Nonetheless, the two of you guys are admitted to an Ivy League school. Immediately, they're questioning your ability to be there, or the reason that you gained admission. They're also there. But it's designed for them, right? In their opinion. Let's just say you continue to bust your butt against these double standards. You're going through this coursework. You're seeing the discrepancies, blah, blah, blah. Let's just say you graduate. You managed to graduate summa cum laude. So you've actually earned honors. You're one of the top of your class. If you're able to do that, because I've actually heard in these top schools, a lot of times, regardless of the quality and caliber of your work, they don't want to give you A's. They don't want to give you, top grades, even if your work is amazing. I had a friend of mine that went to school, actually at Columbia, the PhD program for aerospace engineering. So, dealing with rocket ships and all this type of stuff. He was the only black person in this course. There was a couple Asians and the rest of them were white. He said he used to work 4 times as hard as his peers. He would bring fantastic projects. He would have, other people in the field, other aerospace engineers, check his work and, give him pointers and all this stuff. He would bring these projects to his, his professors, and they would give him C's. He could never break the barriers of C's. He would look at his peers' projects, which are not as comprehensive as his, not as thorough, not as lengthy, not as detailed, and these guys will be getting A's and B's on their projects. So the racism is inherent. Okay, inherent means it's in the whole framework. It means it's a part of you. So let's just say you get through your Ivy League, okay, and you manage to get honors some kind of way. You manage to do that. Now you go into your profession, okay. You see people not wanting to address you by your title. So this includes if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, you're some kind of prominent person, whatever. They don't want to acknowledge you. We saw this at play with President Obama. The media was so incensed by Obama being the president, they didn't even call him President Obama. They used to just simply call him Obama. They didn't want to transfer that respect piece. Now if you see your white colleagues, doctor this, doctor that, doctor this, doctor that, esquire, sir, whatever, professor, barrister, whatever. The double standards, are you guys, I'm going down a road here, but are you guys seeing how this just transfers through various stages of our lives? Okay, so that's the professional. That's the high class professional. Okay. That's how the high class professional endures it. Let's just say you're low class. Let's just say you're low class. You live in low income housing. No disrespect if this applies to any of you. At that point, you just are treated condescending altogether. If you have any interactions with teachers, they may just tell you that you're worthless, you're useless, you're not going to amount to anything. If you deal with police officers, it's not uncommon to deal with racial slurs. You will be victimized in certain situations because you don't have any recourse, and these people know that they can abuse you and get away with it. It dawned on me today. It's not the first time I had the thought, but when I was I'm going to tell y'all what happened, okay? I'm going to tell you guys what happened without going into too much detail, just in case my employers are watching this. So there is, on a different ward, I always see this gentleman. It's a white gentleman. He is just so rude, in my opinion. If he comes in a room among like a bunch of staff, he'll only greet the white people. Here in my hospital, a lot of times, excuse me. Here in my hospital, a lot of times you'll see like a lot of the people that work on the wards, like myself, we are healthcare assistants or nurses. So a lot of the administrative people, they are all white. The social workers, the psychiatrists, the therapists, and all these type of things. And they kind of have an arrogance about themselves, even though what a lot of them do is very useless work. So this particular person, he comes in and he only ever greets the white people that are in the room. Or sometimes he'll just talk to the patients and completely just ignore, the other staff that was around. And I was thinking to myself, this person doesn't even know anything about me whatsoever. Has no idea that I'm a world traveler, that I'm a motivational speaker, that I am this and I am that I have, extensive degrees, used to work corporately for the bank. He has no idea of these things. But somehow he has, he feels entitled to treat me like that, And I thought back at that same moment, I thought about the difference of how I'm treated and received in my homeland, for instance. I receive a respect that is not even, beckoned. I don't even have to, request, to be treated adequately. It's just status quo. It's just the way that it goes. And, in that moment, I just realized, I thought to myself, Gina, these environments are inherently racist, and they quite enjoy having us in their environments so that they can treat us this way, so that they can maintain their superiority. Because in order for you to feel superior, there has to be someone inferior, right? So they love the fact that we are forced, to integrate with them. We are forced to do their dirty work. We are forced to be subject to many things that make us uncomfortable and unhappy. But because we live here, and because we have to earn a living, and because we don't want to interact with the justice system, they know for a fact, okay, if I'm having a dispute, these are the white people. If I'm having a dispute with the black person, I can call the police in a minute. And the police are going to come, and the police are going to be on my side, especially in America. So they feel so elevated. And if we actually speak up for ourselves, and if we actually address them, then we face retaliation, and then we face, some type of recourse. If it's work, it can be a reprimand. It can be us getting sacked, or fired for you guys in America. And I don't know about you guys, but I get so tired of being compressed and suppressed from day to day. When people mistreat me, my natural inclination is to check the hell up out of them. And the thing is, the regular practice of it, because I haven't become desensitized to it, the potent emotion that I feel, when I cannot respond to situations that I otherwise would respond to, is like the epitome of frustration and anger. because obviously these people know if it was a level playing field, this is why they discourage us from, enterprising back home in Africa and establishing any unity between each other. This is why they're always the seed and root cause of dissension between our people. Ramifications of strategic processes that they have done to create division among our people is responsible for a lot of the strife of our people. But the thing is, like, they know if it was an equal playing field, they couldn't treat us like this. They know, matter of fact, when they're in our homelands, they know to behave themselves because they know the standard of life is different there than the way it is in the West. And they know if they call us out of our names or use racial slurs or be disrespectful or be inappropriate, that we have the ability to deal with them in that environment. You see? So we're put in this environment to be subject to their mistreatment. My thoughts are a bit jumbled today, so I hope you guys get what I'm saying. But essentially, I believe the West is inherently racist, and I don't believe that there's any way in these environments that we can organize it. Because the very history of their nations, going back to as much history as we are able to trace, shows what I'm talking about. Back in medieval times, it shows conquest. It shows wars. These people literally going to foreign lands, conquering the foreign lands, taking their goods, taking their women, and then claiming that land. And this is the way they did things. This was common practice. Enslaving people, killing people, burning people, destroying their environments and all this stuff. This is the way they did things. But they'll turn around and call, people in their environments that inflict violence on each other, brutal, what do they call it? Savage, uncivilized, when it's actually their history and the exposure to their country and their culture that is making our people like that. And they'll say, Gina, well, how do you know? Because if you go back to the motherland, which is where it all starts for Black people, you will see the nature of Africans. And you will see, for instance, in their environments, with the exception a lot of times of Muslim countries. But again, the Muslim countries have been exposed to that Arab lifestyle. Okay? But I'm talking about, you can go to the heart of African nations. I'm not talking about the cities. I'm talking about rural communities, maybe even tribal communities and things like that. And you will see our people strive off of harmony. They strive off of family and community. They try everything before resorting to violence. And I just think that this problem that we deal with in the West, it makes me feel hopeless to a point, because every viable vehicle that we've been socialized to believe can get us out of it can't get us out of it. Religion can't get us out of it. Education can't get us out of it. Cooning can't get us out of it. Acquiring a lot of money can't get us out of it. Bleaching our skin can't get us out of it. Nothing. Living in the exclusive neighborhoods can't get us out of it. Going to the best schools can't get us out of it. Buying the biggest house on the block. Nothing that we have been provided can get us out of it. And this is just further reasoning for me to know that I cannot live here. I can't live here long term because I cannot stand living on the uneven playing field where I have to be relegated to mistreatment simply because of the color of my skin. When that same color of my skin gives me so much accolades, respect, and, favor in my own homeland, I can't legitimize why I should stay and be in this environment when an alternative is available. And that is, guys, my word. That is what I always come to tell you about. I come to talk to you about the alternatives. I come to instill that hope in you, that things can change for you. People like me, not anybody else. Not anybody who, can't afford this, can't afford that, want to be on White Zaddy's lap, wants to fight in America. That's really not a fight, but it's a massacre. You and I were not on the same page. We're not on the same page, because for me to live like that is intolerable. And I've come to continue to illuminate the options for us elsewhere. Seriously, our skill set and our knowledge base and our very essence of who we are as a people can benefit our people so much more. And we have to get over the voids that have been strategically placed between us. It is us, guys, that can make a difference and an impact. Many people have been contacting me about South Africa, wanting to know my thoughts on South Africa and so on and so forth. I don't have, extensive knowledge on the situation in South Africa. All I see is the media. I actually had a conversation yesterday with Lunga because Lunga is South African. And, she expressed some parts of the puzzle that I was unaware of. So I may be able to convince her to make a video about it for you guys to share an actual South African's perspective on what is happening down in South Africa. But at the end of the day, once again, and this is something that she pointed out, people in South Africa have been exposed to extreme violence because of apartheid and because of the white people in their country. So the violence is learned behavior. Same thing in America. Same thing in Europe. These people are getting exposed to the European and American way of doing things, and they're just simply repeating it. We talk about it all the time, like, oh, well, how can they inflict violence on their own brother and this and that? Are these not the principles of the white man's land? Family, love, God, and community are principles of the African's lifestyle. But as they begin to get exposed to Western concepts, they begin to emulate the same thing that people in the West do. When white men take guns and do mass shootings, as they very frequently do in America, the conversation is different. Oh, he's mentally ill and he had hardship and he lost his wife and he lost his girlfriend, he lost his dog. It's very understanding to whatever may have, caused him to take this action. But when a black person, also born and raised in America, does a crime, the narrative is different. Oh, they were a criminal, they were this, they were that, they've been arrested so many times, they're a menace to society, whatever. And these are the kind of things, guys, these are the kind of things that are never going to change. We can make our life be meaningful and use it in a way that can do something, instead of simply highlighting the problems that we see and understand are there. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. Thank you for watching my video today. There's several things in the box below. Some links to the Africa Day conference, which I will be speaking in May 2020. In Dakar, Senegal. Please reach out to Sabrina, which is our travel agent handling the affairs, if you're interested in possibly coming over to hear me speak in May of 2020. I also have the GoFundMe available if you would like to contribute. Big shout outs to Cynthia. She has been contributing to my GoFundMe. I did see your contributions and I really appreciate that. The other thing I want to say in preference to this is I have a lot of Nigerians on this channel. Several Nigerians have instigated that I should go to Nigeria. And again, this is an opportunity for you to support your own country. You guys have been asking me to go, and obviously it's not free to go. And visas are not. I actually have to have a visa. Nigerian people don't even have to have a visa. They got their passport. I have to incur costs to do this. So if you are any of those people that have been repetitively asking me or promoting me to go to Nigeria, I'm looking for your donations on the GoFundMe. to help be part of the solution, not the problem. So the GoFundMe link is also below. We also have my Instagram and Facebook links, my email. If you have any questions, please leave any comments below as well. Until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.